Good morning, everybody. This is the webinar session on content localization for media management, or how, as we term it, Asset Builder. And in this webinar, we'll actually be talking about reducing the agency costs by utilizing the Asset Builder for use within the OpenText Media Management platform. So we'll start in a couple of moments. So we'll just wait for some of the other people to arrive. So we'll just literally wait another 60 seconds and we'll make a start. Okay, so I think we'll make a start then. It's a couple of minutes past the hour. Yeah, so as I was saying, this is the content localization for media management webinar. So we're doing this in conjunction with OpenText World. And hopefully this webinar will take about 30 to 45 minutes, so you'll have plenty of time to have a little break before the main keynote later on this morning. Okay, so this is me. My name is Glen Bailey. I'll be doing the presentation today. So I've actually been with Mediawide around about 10 years. Before that, I was actually working with a partner for Mediawide as well. So I've actually been working with Mediawide and their staff for around about 20 years now. So I've been here quite a while. And I actually manage the partner channel relationships and the technical pre-sales for OTMM, Asset Builder, or content localization for media management. Along with the Extreme product as well. So let's start off with a little bit about who Mediawide are, and then once we've done that, we'll actually go into the main topic of the webinar. So Mediawide is actually a leading provider of web to print ad adaptation and digital technologies for brands and retails. As I mentioned, we've actually been incorporated since 1999, so we've been around for over 20 years now. And we've got headquarters in the UK, along with the main development centre and production centre over in Pune in India. We're actually OpenText Digital Experience Solutions Extension, and we're also an OpenText technology partner as well. And we're actually a Solex, as they're called, solutions extensions for two products within OpenText. The one that we're going to be talking about today, which is the OpenText Media Management, and that product is commonly known as the Asset Builder, but it's also known as the content localization for media management. And we're also a solutions extension for Extreme and Empower on the personalized interactive video front as well. And just to let you know, we're actually going to be doing another webinar same time tomorrow on that particular platform. So on the OTMM side, Mediawide have actually been working with OpenText, or Artesia as it was before OpenText, for over 15 years. So when the DAM used to be called Artesia On Demand, we were the go-to web to print solution for that platform. So on to Asset Builder, or content localization for media management. So a quick overview to start off with. So Asset Builder is really a marketing collateral creation platform. So it really allows your OTMM users to customize, localize, personalize any type of marketing collateral or marketing material. It allows OTMM customers to actually create Adobe InDesign templates, and those Adobe InDesign templates can then be uploaded to the OTMM system platform, and they can then be adapted and create new derivatives of that template for print, interactively, and also through batch processes. We also have the ability now to create digital animated templates. They're actually created using the Mediawide animation editor, so they're not created using the Adobe InDesign platform, and they're mainly used for web banner ads, social ads, customized videos, personalized videos, and also the digital signage elements to the platform as well. And of course, the back end of this solution all utilizes the OpenText Media Management platform. So we use the asset builder for editing those derivatives or those templates, but everything else for the versioning, the delivery of the collateral, the store management and digital asset management is all provided by OpenText Media Management. Even down to the users, the permissions, the roles, everything on that type of front is all based on the OpenText Media Management system. So the asset builder is purely a solution that sits on top of OTMM that allows that functionality. So why would you actually want to use the asset builder? Well, for one, you can really leverage your team's talent by optimizing their time by using the asset builder. So you can actually take projects from conception to completion 10 times faster using the asset builder. You can also ensure brand governance by delivering these consistent creative assets across the board. So within the asset builder, as we'll show you a little bit later, you can only edit and change what you're allowed to change. So a lot of companies, a lot of brands are using brand standards to make their advertisements and their marketing common, so it looks and feels the same, whoever created it, wherever it was created from. And the asset builder helps you with that brand governance. And the same as OTMM, we use the term create once, use many. Which allows you to repurpose, re-express, reuse, and also recreate all those assets that you already have on OTMM into new assets that are available to be consumed within the platform. And being a web-based solution, it's anytime, anywhere access to these approved assets that have been created, and also those templates that you can then create new derivatives of those approved assets. And it is a truly self-service model, and you can also have and utilize those built-in creative workflow processes that OpenText Media Management is known for. So what type of media is actually supported by the asset builder? So one of the main mediums that we actually support is actually web display ads. So these are web banner ads. But there's a couple of different types that we do actually support. So the first one is the responsive web display ads. So these are actually HTML5 display ads. They're templates, but they also resize dynamically to the screen that you're viewing them on. So if you're viewing your ad on an iPhone, it'll be a different size than the desktop. So they actually dynamically resize these banner ads to actually fit the screen that they're looking on. We also utilize adaptive web display ads. This is slightly different to responsive. So normally the adaptive web display ads have set breakpoints within that within that ad. So for example, on the screen here you got 648 by 60, or 160 by 600, and 250 by 250. So depending on where you're displaying that banner ad, it'll then dynamically choose the size that's most appropriate and then fit it to that frame. We also handle outdoor and retail signage. So these is a medium that is, or it can be digital, but it can also be print based. So we do support the creation of localized out of home and large signage, which is exported as a PDF. But we do also have the ability to create these as digital signage as well. Print ads. So this one's been around a while now. So the system allows you to customize, localize, and personalize print ads on the web with output directly to PDF. And those PDF exports and the outputs can also be set standards as well. So if it's PDF X1A or whatever it's going to be, whatever format you want it to be, those can be adhered to as well. We've now recently started supporting customized and localized videos. So this allows the variable data to automatically be inserted into these videos for your customers on demand. So again, this normally sort of fits into the extreme type of platform, but we also do allow this as a manual way of actually creating these customized videos and localized videos. So if you think of I'll show you one of these a little bit later on, that can actually specify, for example, if you're a retail store, you might want a local offer for your local residents, so therefore you can put that into your video and share that online where you want. And we also do support any type of marketing collateral. So this is it turns into a web-based dynamic content creation tool. So you can literally create any type of marketing or business collaterals that you actually want to create, from brochures to business cards, letterheads, any type of marketing material, business collaterals that you actually want to generate. You can localize, customize those using the asset builder. So just to show you some examples of these. So this is an animated HTML5 display ad, and as well as generating the HTML5 output, we also generate the animated GIF and also the static JPEGs for the backup images that normally go up with these ads. So the complete creation of all of those assets, the HTML5, the GIFs, and also the JPEGs, is all handled directly through our system. So there's no need to export individual elements based on your own requirements. And it really does allow your satellite offices to really generate their own localized web banner ads. You still have the same approval processes within OTMM that you can utilize. So whether that's going to creative review or Hightail, and once it's been approved, it can then be uploaded directly to their chosen ad service platform. And we'll have a little bit of a case study on this a little bit later, because some of our main customers are actually using the web banner creation tools to actually do this in live situations. Of course, we support print assets. So this is the medium that we've been using now for 20 years since the company was formed, really, and it allows you to localize, customize print-based marketing material, be it print ads, brochures, point of sale, out of home, and so on. But it also allows you to do what we call batch adaptation and dynamic resizing, which means you can actually upload a spreadsheet of all of your variable data, and then it'll then output all of those variants, all those derivatives directly to the OTMM platform as an asset, which can then be utilized within the OTMM platform. And also the dynamic resizing, again, with the print assets, if you're doing print advertisements in newspapers, magazines, or out of home advertisements, point of sale type advertisements, then the dynamic resizing can really be a great benefit to this, to your workflows, because you don't need to go in and manually start changing the sizes of these jobs or these derivatives that are being created. You just simply type in a height and width, and it'll then output that as the right size. And we're not simply distorting and moving things around. We're actually truly going to each individual frame within InDesign, repositioning it, resizing it, and then refitting the content to that frame directly within InDesign. So it's a little bit more, it's a lot more than the liquid layout or anything else that's typically used within this type of dynamic resizing. So using the batch adaptation, the dynamic resizing, again, it greatly increases your productivity and greatly reduces your production costs at the same time. We also offer the ability to localize, customize, and also personalize social assets, such as Facebook cover images, Instagram posts, stories, those types of assets. So they can either be static-based assets, so exported as a JPEG or a PNG, whichever the platform requires at that particular size, or they can actually be exported as MP4 files as well. So if you do need a video-based asset which is customized, then that can also be generated within this platform. And it really means the social page owners can actually update their own content with their own deals and their own local content, but importantly, keeping the brand guidelines all kept intact. So again, some of these examples here, you might only be able to change the price, you might only be able to change the background image, but you can't change anything else. So those brand guidelines are really in there to to help out your brand governance. We also support video assets. So as you saw earlier on the social ones, you can customize and personalize animated videos and stories, which can then be used with your email marketing campaigns or uploaded to social platforms as well. So those videos can also be integrated into a process where customer data can actually be used to dynamically customize or personalize your videos on creation. And that's normally, again, linked with the customer communications platform. So OpenText Extreme is a great example, and tomorrow we can show a little bit more on that as well on tomorrow's webinar. But again, using these videos, you can greatly increase customer interest, customer loyalty, and you can do that simply by employing this personalization where normally it can't be utilized. And we also support interactive digital signage within our platform as well. So this uses the same sort of technology as the web banner ads, the web display ads, but it's really about HTML5 output, or if it's not HTML5, it's normally static output. So JPEGs, PDFs, that type of thing, which is then sent to a specific screen at a specific time to then be managed by that screen. So it offers you massive savings by not having to print each of these, localized point of sale signage within each of your stores. You can just simply make your changes and then submit it to that screen straight away, and it simply then, as part of that workflow, it would then be displayed on that screen. So it's very, very fast to actually get this new digital content directly on your digital signage. And obviously we support, as I said, standard HTML5, JPEGs, PDFs, and so on. So this platform will work with the majority of the digital displays that are actually out there. So as part of the solution, we also have a couple of different workflow modes, so different types of editors within the system. So the asset builder actually has 3 types of editors. So we have the interactive editor, and this interactive editor is actually used for the static and the animated content. And this is actually allowing you to use the asset builder user interface to actually change the available content, such as the text and the images or the videos inside there. And they're actually displayed in real time in the preview. So as you can see here on the right hand side, this lower picture, this is the form that you would normally type your information into, and then this is the preview that it dynamically appears with your changed items. And we actually use a limited feature set of InDesign to do this. So a lot of the sort of fancy InDesign elements that you have might actually be more sort of static content within here, which means you can't edit it within the asset builder, which is fine, because normally they're sort of the design elements which you want to keep intact. What we're looking at here is mainly sort of the text, the images, and so on that you actually want to customize and localize. But we also do have an advanced mode, as you can see up here. There's a little button there which will change to advanced mode, and that will then allow you to even go beyond simple forms. It'll actually allow you to add text frames, image frames, delete the frames, move the frames, resize the frames, change the fonts, the point size, everything in there that you can actually change with however you want. So the normal mode on this interactive editor is normally used if you want to keep your brand standards controlled, you want limited editing. But we then have the advanced mode up here that you can really go into your B2C customers that actually want to do lots of changes. They can do those changes themselves and then supply those to you. We also have the non-interactive editor. So the main differences between the interactive editor and the non-interactive editor is that the non-interactive doesn't have a real-time preview. We actually use the Adobe InDesign to create that new preview and then send it back. So it's actually an on-demand preview. If you hit the proof button, hit the preview button, it'll go to InDesign, render those changes, and bring back the proof. So it's very quick to do that. And again, I can show you that a little bit later. And this non-interactive editor also allows you to do the dynamic non-proportionate resizing. So because we're using every single feature of InDesign, every single frame can be tagged, every single object within that InDesign document can have a set of rules to say, when this document resizes, how do I want to reposition that frame or reposition that object, resize that object, and then refit the content into that object. So it really allows you to do that type of workflow. And finally, the third sort of workflow is actually the batch processing, which is the batch adaptation. So this uses both types of templates, so the static and the animated, so the interactive and the non-interactive. And this really allows you, instead of using the user interface to type in your changes, you simply upload a spreadsheet with those changes already in place. So if you have a spreadsheet with 100 rows, each of those columns could be a tag, so a headline or a product name, an image that's in there. You can simply edit that spreadsheet and then upload that spreadsheet to the platform. It'll then create, if you had 100 rows, it would create 100 derivatives of that job within OTMM. And again, once those have been created, they can go through the review process, hightail, creative review, and so on. And as part of that batch process, you can also do dynamic resizing. So within your spreadsheets, you might have your variable data, but you might also have a new width and height. So again, it allows for mass processing of these digital assets and the print assets, and creating of these derivatives in a very, very fast manner. So as long as you can create that spreadsheet, upload it to the system, you can then get hundreds of these assets, hundreds of these derivatives created dynamically for you. So as we mentioned before, the templated creatives is a lot of the main reason it reduces costs for you when you're generating these print and digital assets. So we'll just go a little bit through that now. So there's a few little points that we want to sort of highlight, and it's really by utilizing the asset builder in a templated creative production, you can actually gain additional benefits. So the first one is you can actually reduce the cost of marketing collateral creation because it is a templated based solution. Therefore, the users will actually utilize the solution to localize, customize, and personalize the current templates uploaded to the system to create derivatives of them. They're going to do this themselves, so there's no need to go to external agencies. There's no need to go to your internal production people that are using Adobe InDesign or Photoshop or anything like that. They can actually do this themselves. So if they want to put up a specific price for specific marketing material, they go into the platform, make those changes, create a new derivative, which they can then use. So there's no go into these agencies, no go into these internal production people to actually get this done. We also accelerate the marketing collateral creation time for faster time to market. Same reason. Your end users are generating this collateral. Therefore, the time to market is reduced from days to minutes. And again, we'll show you how to do that as part of the demo. So again, there's lots of workflows that you can have in the back end of creating these, master documents. But once they're up, once those templates are there, it's very, very fast to actually generate these derivatives of those templates. We can also increase the market responsiveness and effectiveness. And again, that's due to the speed of the system in creating these new marketing assets. So very fast changes can occur. So, things like pivoting a current advertising campaign due to a competitor's actions. If one of your competitors suddenly has a new promotion, you can react to that. You can create new or revised promotions very quickly, and have those available pretty much immediately once they've been generated. And lastly, the asset builder does protect your brand identity. So many corporations currently send their native InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects files to these external sources for them to make derivatives of them. But ultimately, a lot of the time, they make too many changes. And they make their ad look nice, which completely goes against your brand standards, your brand identity. So the asset builder stops this because the users, when they click on one of those templates, when they open one of those templates, they can only edit what they're allowed to edit. They can only change the price. They can only change the image. And that image may have been pre-approved from another bank of assets within your DAM that have been pre-approved previously. So any marketing collateral created by any user will always have the native branding kept intact when created using the asset builder. So an ad in Alaska will look and feel the same as an ad in Florida, but with a localized and relevant content to those viewers or to those recipients. So the ad in Alaska might be for snowblowers, but the ad in Florida might be for a grass cutter. But it uses the same ad template. It's just creating a different derivative with different content, but the look and feel is always the same. So what I'll do now is just quickly go through a little case study that we have. And again, this is based on the web banner ad creation, which is, this is actually a global airline company. And they're actually creating thousands of ads every month to promote their flights. Again, this time of year, it's a bit difficult with the pandemic going on, but before the pandemic anyway, this is what the case study was all about. So as part of the process of replacing their manual ad creation processes to the asset builder automated way of doing things, they actually reduced their banner ad creation from over $50 per ad to under $2 per ad. And they've done that mainly through automation and also allowing their satellite offices to actually generate their own collateral. So the old way of doing it was actually, if a satellite office wanted to generate a new promotion, that promotion had to go to head office. Head office had to approve the promotion. The promotion then had to go to the marketing department. The marketing department had to create something, which would go to the agency to get worked up on an actual design. That would then come back. That would then need to be approved by the head office, the local office. It'll then go back to the satellite office, and something might have gone wrong. And it took days, weeks to actually get these promotions created. And obviously with all that back and forth with the agency and so on, it was very, very expensive. So by reducing the agencies to only create the templates and allowing the pre-approved templates to be used, they can actually reduce the cost to create the ad by a lot. They also reduce the time to market from 7 days to 1 hour. So as I said, that workflow going back and forth to the agencies, the head office, the corporate, the satellite office, all took time. Using the asset builder, the satellite office can quickly launch a template that they like the look of, put that deal in, hit save, and send that off to be reviewed using the system all electronically, very, very quick. So they can simply get a reply back within minutes to say, yep, this is fine, this is approved, go ahead. And they've also increased the production of their banner ads as well. So they used to do about 350 banner ads per month because that's physically all they could do. With the staff that they had and the agency that they used, they were very limited with the promotions and the banner ads that they could physically create. So now using the platform, their satellite offices are all generating their own banner ads. So again, instead of, let's say, 10 production people generating all these banner ads, they can have 300 users all over the globe creating these banner ads instead. So the actual use of the system actually allowed them to create more promotions and more banner ads to be advertised externally. And they've also gone on to batch adaptation. So again, instead of doing this manually, they know what their deals are going to be, so they can simply upload that spreadsheet to the platform, and it'll then generate all of their banner ads very, very quickly. So again, that's why they're actually increasing their ads even more. And because they're using the system, everything that they create is branded correctly. So there was no more sort of weird ads going out that was generated from from some strange agency in some far-fetched part of the world. All of these templates are stored locally on the DAM, and therefore everybody uses those templates, and they then just create derivatives of those templates with the specific deal, the specific call to action, the specific click tag URL where it's going to go to, and so on. So it's all very controlled in the way they actually allow them to do that. So a lot of the time when we're saying like the reduced time to market from 7 days to 1 hour, a lot of that is because a lot of the content that they actually use is actually pre-approved. So the templates are pre-approved. The images that they use within those ads are pre-approved. The only thing that they're actually doing on top of this is actually their local cost. So if I want a flight from A to B, I want to put that as a specific cost. That's the only thing that they need to approve. They don't need to check the images are okay. They don't need to check that the point size is correctly to brand standards and so on, because that template has already been approved to brand standards, so they know it's all correct. So that being said, I think the best thing to do now is actually show you the asset builder in use. So we've actually had about 30 minutes so far of talking. So what I'll do now is actually go through some of the demos that we have available on the system, just to show you the different types of assets that we can create. So it should be about another 20 minutes or so now, 15-20 minutes, just to go through some of these demos. And we'll actually be going through some of the digital signage. So this is for sort of quick service restaurants or fast food restaurants and retail item or retail units. We'll also be showing some out of home, point of sale, batch adaptation and resizing. We can then go through some display ads. So again, we can show you some of these sort of airline display ads, that what they look and feel like, and should show you what they're changing. And we'll also show you some new features on the system, such as the translation capabilities that we now have. So if I now escape from here and go into here. So as you can see, this is OTMM. It's not the newest version of OTMM, so I think it's only about 16 version. So this will work on the latest versions as well. So 20.2, 20.3 when that's released and so on. It'll work with that with those versions as well. So what we'll start off with is the digital display ads. So this is OTMM. We have some folder structures in here. So as you can see, I have an MW demo folder, and inside this folder I have something called all templates. And inside these folders, for example, the digital signage folder, you can see here I actually have my 2 templates that I can actually use to create a derivative of this job. So for example, we have 2 templates here. This is actually a static template, so this is going to be saved as a JPEG, and this is actually a digital template that's going to be saved as a HTML file ready to go onto the digital displays. So just to give you some background of this, if you see here, when I double click on this asset, you can see here we have metadata. So for example, some of the metadata here is the output type. So this is actually an output type of JPEG. So this is going to be saved as JPEG when we render it. Is it going to be resized? No. So we don't need to resize this, so it's not going to come up with the height and width for this. And there's lots of different other metadata that we can use here, like the approval days, the approval workflows that are within the system as well. So a lot of the metadata we can actually define directly within here that allows us to control how we utilize this this template. So to actually launch the asset builder, so if I wanted to edit this content, I simply click up here, click on this link here, which is the asset builder. And when I click on this link here, this will now launch our asset builder. So once it's launched, you'll actually see we have the big preview in the middle. So this allows us to see what we're actually changing. We have the form on the right, and we have some masters here on the left. So we've only got one master, the product details, so we can't change this. But we can actually change what we're actually viewing within here. So for example, I might want to choose a chicken wrap as my first item. So when I change this, you can see here it puts the chicken wrap in here. The second one, I might want the fried steak sandwich. The third one, shrimp baguettes. Fourth one, the prawn. And then I just go on and sort of change what I want within here. Let me change that to a cheeseburger. Okay, so now we have our products within our digital signage. We can now change other things, like for example, this fried steak sandwich, my local store, I want this to be $4. So again, as soon as I change this $4 here, you will actually see this updating over here to $4 as well. So whatever I type in here, it updates it on the preview screen immediately over here. So this is the interactive type of template that we're using here. Once I've changed what I want to change, I can now hit the proof button. So when I hit the proof, I can give this a name. Let's call this digital 1. And as you can see, this is now going to render this job. So because this template was created through Adobe InDesign, this is now going to go to the Adobe InDesign server. It'll open that template, replace the content with the new content, and then save that back down as a JPEG or whatever export file I need. So as you can now see, I now have a JPEG up here. And if I click on this JPEG, that will now download, and I can quite easily view my JPEG directly on screen here. Now, obviously, we can add watermarks and other things in here to stop you using this JPEG if it's not been approved. But yeah, we can do that if need be. But once I've finished editing, I would then simply hit close. And once I hit close, as you can see, it's now uploading my file to OTMM. So even though this template was in OTMM, we've actually downloaded this to the asset builder. We're now making all these changes. Once we made the change, we're actually uploading the new derivative up to OTMM. So depending on the file size, how big it is, and so on, depends how long that will take, and also the locations of the servers and so on. So as you can see here, on the right hand side, I have my all jobs folder, which again is just another folder that's been defined within OTMM, and I can simply click on my job here, my derivative, and you can see here, this is my JPEG that's been created, this is my thumbnail, and this is also an XML file that also goes with this as well. One thing we can do within here, if required, we can still go into the asset builder directly from here. I could then make any changes and then save that back down again, and that would then appear as a new version within OTMM. So this would then become version 2. So we do support versioning within OTMM as well. So if I go back to my home folder again, so if I go back to my digital signage folder, this second one here is slightly different. This is actually an animated template. So if I double click on this one to launch this one, you'll see here, instead of the output type being JPEG, the output type is now HTML. So this means this is an interactive, animated type of template, but the editing is identical. So if I click on the asset builder up here, this will launch the asset builder, which I can then edit and customize this, this digital signage again. So as you can see, the user interface is identical, whether it's print, digital, animated, video, is the same. So basically, again, I can choose, let's say, the breakfast muffin here. And this breakfast muffin, I'm going to do this for $2 instead. And my coffee is still $1 here. And again, if I hit the preview, again, I can put in a job name here. I'll call this digital 2. And again, this will render the job, but we're not using the InDesign server. We're actually using our animation toolkit to do this, so it's very fast. And once we've done this, I can then hit the play button to actually view this animated derivative that I've created. So if I hit the play button, as you can see, this HTML5 version can actually have embedded video in here. You can have audio in here, but obviously everything that we've changed here, like the $2 for the price, we can change, we can make it variable, and we can change as well. So we can include and embed video within these animated content as well. So it does actually look like a true video if need be. Okay, so when I close this, this will also save a job and upload that directly to the platform. And again, the same approval processes and so on happens within OTMM. But what I'll do instead, I'll just hit the home button rather than just uploading it. So that's the first item. So we've gone through the digital out of home, the digital signage side of things for the QSR and retail. And so the next one is the batch adaptation and the resizing. So again, this is just something just to show you what we can do. So within the folder structure, I have POS and point of sale. And within the point of sale, I actually have these two templates. This is a coffee ad or a coffee sign that I actually want to use and print. So in this case, this is a non-interactive template. So as you can see, template type is non-interactive. This is actually going to be saved as a PDF as well. But as you can see here, we actually have the resize metadata set to yes. So that means when we save the job or proof the job, it will actually ask me for a new height and width to render this job as. So if I now hit the asset builder, again, non-interactive, uses the same editor that you saw before. So it's very simple for the user to do. But what I can do within here is actually change some of these items. So let me change this to say 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah, so it's 9 till 8 weekdays, 9 till 9 Saturdays, and 10 till 4 Sundays. So I've changed the content here. I could also change the background image if I wanted to. So instead of this one, I'll choose this one instead, and I'll just keep the logo as it is. And instead of for your caffeine needs, I'll do for your coffee needs. And again, as you can see, when I'm typing all these in, because this is a non-interactive version, it's not updating the preview. So to update the preview, I need to actually hit the preview button. This can be automated, so when you go from tab to tab, it can automatically refresh this. But in this particular instance, we've just done this as an on-demand preview. So when we hit the preview button, it will then make those changes. But as you can see from here, the first thing it will actually do is actually ask you for a new height and width. So if I say, let me change this to, this will go, let's try a square one. So 12 by 12. So the width can be between 8 and 13 inches and the height is between 11 and 20. So obviously 12 and 12 works. So if I OK this and give this a name, again, it'll go to the InDesign server, it'll render that job, put in that new content into the fields, and it will then dynamically resize this. So as you can see, we now have a square version. So this is a 12 by 12 inches. My new content is in here, so the 9 AM till 9 PM Saturdays, and also my change to the coffee and the background in here as well. So it's very, very simple to do. And as I said, we can do these previews as many times as we want. So I can actually hit the preview again and say, you know, this time I want, let's do a 8.5 by 11 point, no, let's do it's 18. So this is going to be a much higher than it is wider. And I can just hit the OK button and it will then render that job, do the resizing and come back with a new preview. And as you'll see, it doesn't stretch, it doesn't do anything like that at all. It does actually move each individual frame, repositions it, refits the content to actually fit that frame as well. So we can do this as many times as we want along here, and we can save it when we're actually done. So that's the way the sort of non-interactive works and also dynamic resizing works. But what we can also do, if I go back to my home again, if I go back to my POS and my coffee number 5, this template here, if I go into here, the metadata also has this metadata batch adaptation equals yes. And what that means is that I can actually upload a spreadsheet to actually create this content. So as well as the asset builder icon up here, I also have the start a new batch icon. So if I click on this new start new batch, this now gives me the ability to upload a file. And this is a spreadsheet file. So this is going to be called the coffee XLS file. So this has got 2 records in here. And when I then hit next, you'll then see it'll do a quick check to make sure everything's okay in this file, make sure the template exists and so on, and then it'll come up with the preview of that file to show me what's in there. So as you can see, this spreadsheet's actually got the job name, the template name, the job width and height, and the units for this job width and height, but also the variable text for the header, the variable text for the opening times, but also it gives us the ability to change the logo in the background. So if I wanted to, I can actually choose a different logo and also a different background image from here as well. And obviously these can also be used or uploaded as part of that spreadsheet as well. So if you didn't want to do that manually. And once you've done this, you would then hit generate jobs. The generate jobs would then go to the InDesign server on this first row, go to the InDesign server, render that job, come back with it here. The second time, it'll go to this row and do the same. And it'll keep doing that until it goes all the way through that spreadsheet and finishes all those jobs. And as you can see, if I go back to home, these are the 2 that were created from this particular batch file. So you can see, this has got that background on it. And if I go back to home, this has got the different background on it, which is the lighter one as well. But as you can also see, because this is done through batch adaptation, the one thing we also upload as part of the process is the InDesign document. So if you're doing 1,000 of these, obviously there might be 1 or 2 that might need tweaking, which means you can actually go into your OTMM plugins within InDesign and actually open up this InDesign document from OTMM, make those changes, and upload the new PDFs, JPEGs, and so on that you require. So it's very, very simple to actually edit anything that's been generated through the asset builder as well. And that's an option for any type of job. But obviously, the digital ones using the toolkit, you'd have to open that in the toolkit animation instead. So, so that's the sort of point of sale side of things, the batch adaptation, the resizing. The last one is really the social ads. So again, if I go to my home folder, we actually have some banner ads up here somewhere. Oh, here they are. Couldn't find them. And these banner ads, I'll actually show you a particular one. So this one is actually the one I want to show. So this is actually the Amber Airways, the fictitious airline company banner ad. So again, if I click on the Asset Builder button, this is where we launch the Asset Builder. And when we launch the Asset Builder, again, it's the same user interface that you've already seen. So whether you're generating print, digital, it's the same editor. So it's very, very easy for them to use. So with the banner ads, I can change, for example, the background image here. So that, again, pre-approved image you can upload on here. And I can then change the fares. So for example, if I wanted to change this to British pounds and let's leave that as it is, just change some of these prices. So 259, 395 and 495, for example. And again, once I've created this, once I've made my changes, and as you can see, we can also select the different scenes within this template as well. So this one's actually got two scenes. So the first scene is this one, and then it'll animate and go to the second scene, which is actually the fares. So as you can see, it's very simple for any satellite office to change the promotional copy, the background images, and also those fares that belong on here as well. And if I preview this, enter a name, let's call it banner 1. Again, this will render the job, but what you'll also notice is that this is actually a responsive banner ad. So this is the type of banner ad that dynamically resizes to what we're looking at, to what screen it's being displayed on. So as well as these breakpoints that are actually within the actual template, there are also other sizes that we can actually generate. So for example, these here, the 320 by 50 is not in one of these breakpoints. So if I go to the 320 by 50, this will actually take one of these breakpoints and then dynamically resize it to fit this particular size. So as you can see, there's now only let's see, 3 fares. So that's the 3 different fares with 3 different scenes on here. What we can also do is, well, because these are dynamic, we can actually fit this display ad to the screen. So if I look at this on an iPhone, it's going to fill the screen, and this is what it's going to look like. If I rotate the screen, it does the same. So it's going to fit it to that screen. If I choose an S5, for example, it's going to be slightly wider or longer because their screen size is different, or even like an iPad. So this is going to be more sort of 3:2 format. So again, it'll actually dynamically resize this display ad to actually fit this screen. And again, once I've created this, I would then hit the close, and when I hit the close, it will then upload this to OTMM, and you can use that as an asset within OTMM and then forward it onto whichever ad portal that you want. Now, the last thing that we wanted to show you, because we've only got 10 minutes till the main keynote, is one of the new features that we now have within the Asset Builder. So if I now go back to my POS and I choose my signboard, so this signboard here, no, sorry, that's not right. My signboard, I think it's my print ad. No. Here we go. So this is a brochure for a real estate advert. And what I wanted to show you is some of the translation capabilities we now have within here. So for example, if I just go to just grab some text that I have on my desktop. So this is the text I have on my desktop. So I'm just going to copy this. And for example, I could put this into property features. So property information. So as part of the property information, I've got all this text in here that I've just entered in, and as you can see, it's all in English. So they're located on the acclaimed Napoleon on Kent in the heart of CBD, and so on. So if I actually wanted to translate this into a different language, you'd normally have to go externally and do that translation and come back and basically paste it in again. But we now have the translation built directly into the asset builder. So if I click on this icon here, you can now see this is the original text, and we actually automatically detect what language this is in. And we then can choose a different language for this to be translated into. So if I say Spanish, and as you can see, it's going to do the API to the translation server, bring back that new translated text, which we can then copy directly to that field. So as you can now see, this has now been translated directly from English into Spanish. Now, currently, we've integrated this with the Google Translate, but obviously we can actually utilize other third-party translation utilities as long as they're API based. So if you wanted to use the Azure or with Amazon translations, anything like that, then we can actually integrate to some of those platforms as well. But that's just to give you a quick preview of the new translation capabilities that we now have within the asset builder. So I think that's pretty much all we wanted to show you today. Now, obviously, if you have any questions, then please let me know. We do have a Q&A available if you wanted to ask any questions. But if not, then that's fine. You can always reach me after this webinar. Just ping me on my email, so glen.bailey@mediawide.com. If you have any queries about this, any of the things that you saw today, just please send me an email and we'll be able to reply back to you directly with those answers. So all I've got left to say is really thank you very much for attending this webinar. I hope it's been informative for you. If you do have any questions, as I said, please email me. Otherwise, you're obviously quite welcome to speak to your local OpenText account exec or solution consultant who does know about this asset builder product. They've got all the information themselves as well, so you can either talk to them or you can talk directly to us. But yeah, please let me know if you've got any queries, and it's been great to give this webinar to you. So thank you very much.